You know what I just realized in that intro that we have with your host, Jordan Lazowski, and I've been here for several weeks at this point. So I think I need some sort of something.
Oh, yeah.
Not that it really
No,
matters.
keep it in. It'll confuse everyone. That's great.
Exactly. Anyway, welcome everyone to this week's episode 21 of This Week in Baseball. I am your host, not Jordan Lazowski. I am, in fact, Diego Franco Carino. And with me today, we have Sam and Kristian. How are you guys doing today?
We're doing good.
Fantastic.
And then, Sam, this is your first time on, right?
It is.
All right. You want to do a quick introduction for yourself for the listeners?
If more than 2 people listen to this,
we get a few more than 2.
Oh, 7. Okay. Yeah. I've been here for a few months. They finally decided to record at a time that I could actually do it, so I'm here now. So
perfect, all works out.
Who's your favorite team? That's just what you need. Who's your favorite team, Sam?
Reds.
The Reds, okay.
Reds, okay.
Yeah, perennial disappointment.
That's fair. I mean, Kristian's an Angels fan, so he gets it.
I mean, at least you guys have Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani.
It's not much of a consolation with our.
There's silver lining to the mediocrity.
That's fair. That's fair point. Anyway, so yeah, This Week in Baseball. Just if you're new here, what we'll do a quick around the league in 60 seconds before we do a standings update, and then we'll jump into our 7th inning stretch, which is 7 innings, 7 questions. It's kind of fun. That's how we do it here. But we'll start, as always, with our standings update. And we are recording Sunday night after the Sunday night game has concluded. So all these standings should be up to date by the time this goes up. And unless you listen to it way later. And then in that case, it's not our fault. Anyway, in the American League, we have we'll start east. We'll go east to west. American League East, we have the Tampa Bay Rays. In the Central, we have the Chicago White Sox. And in the West, we have the Houston Astros, all leading their respective divisions. That wild card race, pretty tight one. Currently, you have Boston as the wild card one, a game up on the Toronto Blue Jays. And then behind them, you have the Yankees, the A's, and the Mariners all still kind of fighting for position. And any combination of those teams can realistically get into the wild card. So we'll see how that ends up playing out. In the National League East, currently are the Atlanta Braves, 2 games. In the Central, you have the Milwaukee Brewers. And out west, the San Francisco Giants lead the LA Dodgers by 1 game, which is terrifying. As one of the very few Giants fans at this site, it's terrifying. Anyway, your wild cards are the aforementioned LA Dodgers, who are up 16 games on the second wild card, St. Louis Cardinals. Behind them, you have the Reds, the Phillies, the Padres, and technically the Mets are still in contention, but not really. They're 7 games back of the wild card. But Cincinnati, 3 games back, Philadelphia and San Diego both 3.5 back. Yeah, those are your standing updates. Any thoughts, guys, about standings, without getting too much into what you already have planned?
Don't count the Mets out. They're still in this.
No, they aren't.
They can make up 7 games with 11 to go. They're still in this.
Yeah, don't tell Draft Neck Mark what they're out of it. Don't tell him.
That's fair. All right. So we'll jump into around the league in 60 seconds. We'll start with Kristian. Give us your, what happened this week in baseball.
The Padres continue their meltdown. That's just been hilarious. Machado and Tatis got into an argument last night, and Machado, for the first time in his MLB career, showed some form of maturity, so that was huge. And if you've been watching this podcast at all, you know how much I've been talking about the Blue Jays, and they're here. They're finally showing up. They've won all the games they needed to win. They're in contention, and they're led by Simeon and led by Vladdy. It's been fun watching Toronto.
Sam?
My point is that the Cardinals are pulling out their late season BS once again. It happened in 2011, and it's happening again. I, for one, will laugh harder than they've ever laughed if they beat the Dodgers in the wild card game.
Yeah.
But it just hurts, like just physically hurts to watch the Reds lose at the worst possible time.
Yeah, that's got to be tough being the fan of the team that's starting to,
They were doing
fall off
so
a little
well. Oh shit!
They were. So
Votto.
unfortunate timing, but all right. So with that being said, yeah, a lot of things go around this week. We did have some clinching going on. I think this is the last time we've done our this week in baseball. And so as of right now, the Giants, Dodgers, and Brewers have all clinched a postseason spot with a few of the other teams in first, not too far behind. But also, I mean, this next week, I think we'll see a lot more clinches happening.
If I can just add on to that, like I wrote an article about the Brewers like a couple weeks ago. They're not paying their guys practically anything.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's just super impressive. Like because they're paying Corbin Burns like what league minimum, paying Brandon Woodruff like $4.3 million. Like the fact they're getting like that's like Billy Beane levels of maximizing value. And I think that's just a really good. I think honestly, I think the Brewers could just be the new A's. Like they're finding all these market inefficiencies, and I think like the defense, I think they're a really strong team. I think they could be the Giants or the Dodgers.
All right, fair. They definitely are built on really strong pitching, and that has proven effective in the past. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens. Anyway, so from that we'll jump into our 7th inning stretch. So, like I said, 7 innings, 7 questions. So we'll jump right into it with inning number 1. So we have to talk about the wild card races a little bit more. Like I said, without getting out too much, because this is the question we had ready. So because things are changing every day. Boston, Toronto, and New York, they're trading shots back and forth. With the A's and the Mariners still within striking distance, they're definitely still contenders for the wild card spots. And then meanwhile, in the National League, the Cardinals have a little bit of a lead now, that second wild card spot. So let's approach the question from this angle here. Between those 3 AL East teams, the Athletics, the Cardinals, the Reds, the Padres, the Phillies, and the Mets, maybe, which team has the most to lose from missing the playoffs? And which would be the biggest disappointment if they were on the outside after 162 games? And we'll start with Kristian.
Yeah, so the biggest disappointment by far is going to be the Yankees. They're top 5 in payroll. They added Joey Gallo, added Anthony Rizzo in the deadline. And if they miss the playoffs, it's just embarrassing. It doesn't matter how good the division is, because it is a really, really good division. As a franchise, it is embarrassing to think about the Yankees missing the playoffs right now with how much they've spent. Who do I think is going to miss the postseason or make the postseason? I think the 4 wildcard spots, it's going to end up being Toronto, New York, hopefully. But and then on the Cardinals are taking that second wildcard spot. And who has the most to lose?
Never mind. I forgot.
I forgot it too. Don't worry.
Maybe.
Who has the most to lose?
I
forgot about the question, so I looked at it. I think Boston has the most to lose, and Boston and New York both kind of in the same grounds. They've spent a lot. They've done a lot. Toronto, they didn't really expect themselves to be in this position. Seattle and Oakland, Seattle definitely doesn't expect themselves to be in the playoffs any year, ever. And Oakland will take what they can get. Yankees and Boston, they've done so much and haven't shown little.
Are you done this time?
I am.
Perfect. All right, Sam, what do you got?
I think the biggest disappointment would have to be the Padres, because their entire team right now is essentially just built on this pool of prospects built over the past 4 years, and that prospect pool is dwindling quickly. This is their year. If they mess it up, they don't get another chance. Maybe next year, but then a lot of those pieces are gonna Like it's gonna start catching up. It's gonna like that, like selling, like buying constantly is gonna start catching up to them. But if I were to give my wild card predictions, I think Dodgers, and I want to say the Reds, but it'll probably be the Cardinals. And then in the American League, I think I agree it's going to be Toronto and New York. I think probably the biggest disappointment would have to be honestly, I think that's probably also the Padres, because they had these high expectations. They're supposed to be fighting for that division crown with the Dodgers, and we later find out that the Giants were good. But it's just so strange to like the Padres will get made fun of if they miss the playoffs, and the meme won't die until they get it right.
Yeah, I think that's definitely where I'm at too. The Padres have just been so underwhelming this season. I mean, I'm not mad about it. I don't care because the Giants are good, so that's what I really care about. But yeah, they, like you said, Sam, that prospect window, it's coming up quick, and your window seems very small. We'll see if they can elongate that window. I think they definitely can. But I feel like their best time would be right now. And I mean, they've already underwhelmed so much. Like, how much more underwhelming can you do before it becomes a much bigger concern?
Mm-hmm.
So, even though it's already a pretty big concern, but that's beside the point. Anyway, moving on to inning number 2. John Heyman reported this week that the Mets are looking at Billy Beane to potentially leave the Oakland Athletics to run baseball operations for the New York Mets. Do you believe Beane would ever leave the Athletics? And if he did, what could a move like this to New York potentially do to his legacy? And we'll start with Sam.
All right, I think with the whole Billy Beane, I don't think leaves Oakland. Like, there's just so much history there. Like, you have to leave. I think he still believes that he can build a championship. And I think, and honestly, going on the next part of the question, he has to know that his legacy essentially rides on the fact that he can bring Oakland a championship. If he doesn't do that, his legacy's tarnished. If he can't bring a championship to Oakland, yeah, I just don't think. And plus, so I don't think he leaves, and I don't think the Mets have any kind of chance of getting him because like Beane himself has to know that kills his legacy.
Kristian, what do you got?
Completely opposite of that. I think he's absolutely leaving. Last season, he was going to leave Oakland for the Red Ball Fenway agency. The deal fell through, but he all but confirmed this was going to be his last season with Oakland. I don't think this hurts his legacy. I don't think it tarnishes it at all, even if he doesn't win a championship there, because we know of the effects Moneyball had for baseball. I mean, we see it every day with statistics, how we familiarize ourselves with statistics. It all came from Billy Beane. So I don't think his legacy is tarnished by this at all. It's going to help the Mets a fuck ton. I mean, Billy Beane is a smart man, and you're giving him money. Like, it's great. He's never had money. He's never had something to be able to do that and establish himself. I want to see where the Mets go with this. I mean, they've had some shitty luck with GMs. It's been horrible for them. They've been a laughingstock of baseball for quite some time, and Billy Beane, that's going to change. That will change.
Actually, can I respond to that? I don't think. I think, has Billy Beane proved that Moneyball works? Because sure, it wins teams a lot of games, but doesn't win. But like, sure, the Dodgers win with the gargantuan payrolls with the principles of Moneyball. But as far as I can remember, no team with like a truly that true low payroll philosophy has won a championship recently.
A low payroll philosophy, the Kansas City Royals won in 2015. They're not necessarily a smart team, though. They never have been. They're a really stupid, lucky team. But that is a low payroll
small market window kind of team.
The Tampa Bay Rays, I feel, have put the Moneyball to them, and you've said it yourself with the Brewers. They're also just the entire league has adapted Billy Beane's philosophy. even if they're spending more, they just know what he was looking for. That part matters, and that's what I think his legacy is about.
Yeah, but I will say that the market inefficiencies that Billy Beane himself found, like in the early 2000s, are kind of going away because everyone's recognizing them. I think that kind of leads to the point of small market teams are just traveling from inefficiency to inefficiency, and that doesn't win rings. The Rays are great. They haven't won a ring yet.
That's true, absolutely. But like the Dodgers are looking for that. They're looking for market inefficiencies. I mean, Max Muncy, one of their best players, he was a market inefficiency. Like they've always gone for that. Their bullpens have been Justin Turner. Their bullpen especially, like that's a lot of market inefficient guys. That's been the biggest thing with that is the bullpens.
Look at the Giants this year. I mean,
the Giants absolutely.
They've hit on almost every single one of the contracts that were, low value, high upside guys.
And they're especially.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot like their entire bullpen, unless you're a Giants fan, maybe 2 names in that bullpen. Like
Tyler Rogers, the other guys.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, so it really is, and the only reason people know Tyler Rogers because he throws funny, but big money ball connections, big money of all types.
Yes.
Yeah, either way,
I'm of the belief that the Giants are actually wizards, and that there's no money ball at all. They're just using magic.
Would also make sense.
I think that makes far more sense than them actually being smart, because it's like the Giants.
All right. Anyway, we'll move on to the next question. We do have some more innings to get through here. So we'll go to inning number 3. Ryan Braun announced his retirement from baseball this week, and he certainly has a complicated legacy due to his PED suspension and everything kind of surrounding that. So how do you view his career, and do you think that the Brewers will or should retire his number? As I get the points back up, we'll start with Kristian.
How do I view his career? He's a loser. He's just a loser. I don't mind anyone who does steroids. Go for it. Like, if you're not cheating, you're not trying to win, Barry Bonds is the greatest player of all time. I have no problem with that. What I had a problem with Ryan Braun and all of that, he tested positive. He apologized to fans, and then a report came out saying that it was a false positive. He wasn't anything. And then he ridiculed the fans, saying I was never guilty. I never took any steroids, and he lambasted the fans for no reason. And then not a week later, it comes out, oh, he did take steroids, and then he asked for the fans' apology again, and I lost all respect for him there. Should they retire his number? Absolutely not. I mean, he was a great player, but he's not a legacy player. I mean, he never. Yeah, no, absolutely not. He's not a legacy player. He's not good enough to have his number retired, not good enough to have a statue, and he's just a trash person.
Sam.
I'm a bit less qualified to talk about Ryan Braun's career because I wasn't old enough to remember most of it.
That's fair.
So just from purely statistical lens, he was a pure hitter. Like there's no debate about that. He wasn't good enough of a pure hitter. He was just good. Good offensive players should not get their numbers retired if there's just not a good defensive backbone to it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I guess he did steal a few bases, but even if he didn't take steroids, even if he put those exact same numbers and he was the best person ever, his number is not worthy of being retired. He wasn't good enough.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's definitely a complicated situation, especially with a lot of stuff that Kristian brought up. I think Braun's a bozo. I don't like him. This is for exactly all the reasons you said, Kristian. Dude, come on.
That was a pack I enjoyed smoking. I gotta say, he just loser.
Yeah.
When you speak about his bad defense, though, it was really bad. People don't realize how bad. He started his career at third base, and in his rookie season, he hit .320, had a .370 on base, and a .630 slugging. But just one of the best rookie seasons in quite some time. He was only worth 2.5 more because he was so bad defensively.
Was his defense that bad?
Yeah, that bad. Let me pull up his stats here. His DRS that year was horrible. No, I have stats pulled up. I mean, it's just
saying you don't have his stats memorized year for year.
Yeah, negative 32 DRS and negative 28 UZR. Like that's just
Derek Jeter type.
Yeah, Miguel Andujar wishes he could be that bad. That's saying something.
And Miguel Andujar more like Brooks Robinson. Am I right?
Comparatively, yeah.
And then Sam, you brought up some really good points too about the fact, like, sure, he was good, he had good years, but he wasn't like that good.
He was never that guy.
Yeah, he was never that guy exactly. But
like he couldn't lead his team to a championship. Obviously, championships aren't a measure of player success. Obviously, those Brewers teams of the early 2010s were pretty good.
Absolutely.
I wholeheartedly believe they win that they could have won that 2011 championship if Braun was that guy. So
yeah,
you're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy.
You're not that guy.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I think a lot of really good points there. I mean, we'll see what ends up happening. I don't think anything really ends up happening coming out of it, but like I said, only time will tell. So we'll see. All right, moving on to inning number 4, our fact or fiction. So, fact or fiction. Salvy Perez is having the best offensive season by a catcher in baseball history. I would like to reiterate, I did not write these questions. I want to make that abundantly clear. And we'll start with Sam.
He's not. Fiction. Because I was looking at it, and have you guys seen what Johnny Bench did in 1972?
Oh yeah,
a lot more than Salvy did.
It was a far better season. Like he's better in OPS plus by a mile, and let me check. Like he actually he walked sometimes. Like they had very similar seasons, but he walked sometimes. So I think just Bench had the better season. Like, sure, Perez puts up flashy stats, but it's not the best. It's not the best season.
No.
The greatest of all time was better at it. Shocker. Greatest catcher of all time.
Kristian.
All right, so this is obviously fiction. I mean, it's just complete bullcrap, complete ludicrous that anyone continues to push this narrative. From 1993 to 2003, Mike Piazza's WRC plus by season was higher every single season than Salvador Perez this year. He has a 126. Piazza was no less than 135. I mean, it's not close. It's laughable, and it's like it's really just laughable. It's an insult to other great hitting catchers that his name is being mentioned with them. And don't even get me started on his defense and how just ridiculously wrong people are about him being a good defender.
Overpaid.
Yeah. Like I said, I want to read it. I did not write this question. I just want to put that out there. It was Laz. But yeah, I understand why he wrote it. Like it is a discussion that some people are having, but like, come on, like he hasn't had the best offensive catching season in the last 10 years.
Not even of this year. Probably not even top 5 in WRC plus this season by catchers. It's just
I believe he's 11th actually.
What?
Like last that I checked, I could be wrong, but like
Max Stassi had a higher WRC plus the last time I looked, which it's just not close.
I know Buster has a higher one, but Buster's also having a really good offensive year too. But yeah, it's just a point to be brought up. Like, sure, he's hitting a lot of home runs, and that's cool because that's something that the MLB likes to,
he would have been great in the 90s.
They like to market it.
Yeah, it's great marketing. I mean, awesome marketing. Yasmani Grandal in the same division is hitting like 196 this season, and his WRC plus is higher. He's been 130s. I mean, it's nothing Salvador Perez has done has been impressive.
It's been
it's not it's not all that special.
He's a statistical oddity. Like, it's kind of strange to see someone like walk as little as he does and still put up, still kind of be an above average hitter. But like, still, not even that good of a season.
Yeah, it's.
We weren't talking about Chris Carter's season like this when he put up similar numbers. I mean, Chris Carter had 40 home runs for Milwaukee, and they let him go. They non-tendered him. I mean, it's just about the same exact season in Salvador.
Chris Carter, totally someone I know who existed. I've heard of him.
You are young. Oh my.
I was born in 2006.
Oh
yeah.
boy.
He was still playing. He was on the Yankees in 2019.
Yeah.
No Yankee fan wants to remember it, but he was.
He was. I think he was an Astro right before that too. I think he was a half decent Astro too.
Yeah, a little trash can action.
Yeah. Either way, but yeah.
Gotta love trash cans.
True. They do love them down in Houston. Anyway, moving on to number 5. Max Scherzer has been lights out since joining the Dodgers at the trade deadline, unfortunately. He is 7-0 with an 0.78 ERA in 58 innings. What sort of contract could you see Scherzer earning at the end of the season, and who would be your top candidates to sign him? And he'd definitely start a wild card game for the Dodgers if they don't win the division over Kershaw and Buehler, right? Like that's. Believe it or not, I've had this debate today already. Yeah, we'll start with Sam.
All right. First of all, he should definitely start the wild card game. It shouldn't even be a debate. Like, come on. I think, like, in terms of teams that could sign him this offseason, I would be shocked if the Dodgers didn't. Because, obviously, Max Scherzer, he's kind of at the tail end of his prime, if not career. In theory, he should not be like wanting to go to like a bad team to help shore things up. He should want a ring chase. And the Dodgers give him the best chance to do that. And I'm saying he'll probably get like a 2 years, I would say 2 years, $60 million, as is probably around the neighborhood of what he'll get. Just because he's so good, but he's kind of old, so you can't give him like 5 years. But yeah.
Okay, Kristian, what do you got?
So I've thought about this contract a lot as an Angels fan because he's been someone we've been projected to sign for quite some time. Like it's just been on our radar for a while. I think Trevor Bauer's contract, despite how shitty of a person he is, it did a lot for baseball. And I think you're going to see something similar with that with Scherzer. I could easily see him signing a 3-year deal in which the first year he's getting like $40 million. And then next year it's $35 million, next year $30 million. And he has options to opt out if he continues to perform. But that's the type of contract I foresee him getting because as we see here, the talent is not diminishing in the slightest. He's been a little more injury prone, but he's just been as good, if not better than prior. Like he's that fucking guy. Would I start him if I'm the manager for the wild card? Absolutely. But also it's kind of hard to not give that to Kershaw or Buehler even. Kershaw is your ace. Like no matter how Scherzer's better, but Kershaw's the ace. He's the front runner. He's going to be the opening day starter no matter what. It's kind of hard not to justify giving your guy the start, even if Scherzer is better.
Yeah, like I said, I've had this debate plenty as of the last few days, and I think the only scenario where I think Scherzer is not the wildcard starter is if you're still using him in the regular season, the very tail end, to try to get that division crown. And because obviously that's their priority number one, and it's going to come down to that last week, almost guarantee it. So I think in that case, they do have a plethora of riches to choose between Scherzer, Buehler, Kershaw, even Urias.
Tony Gonsolin can start and be better than most people's aces.
Exactly. Nothing would make me happier to see them start Urias and have him get absolutely shelled in the wild card game, though.
I would agree.
It would be so funny if the Cardinals beat them.
I
that would
agree.
that
I
would
would
be
love that.
peak comedy.
I would love
Yes.
Like I want
Yeah.
to see J.A. Happ beat Max Scherzer and the Dodgers so bad.
We'll see John Lester outpitch Max Scherzer in the wild card game.
Oh man.
Have him take his ibuprofen before he hits the mound.
Yeah. But if the
I think
Cardinals, it's Wainwright, the Cardinals, like
Yeah, Wainwright would probably start
Absolutely.
the wild card for them.
They
I think
absolutely
the last wild card any of their pitchers started would be Lester with Oakland in 2014. The asshole blew it.
that sounds correct because the Dodgers haven't been in a wild card in at least 9 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right. So,
Mhm.
yeah. Anyway, so we'll move on to inning number 6. So, MLB announced that the 2023 All-Star Game is going to take place in Seattle. So 2022 is in LA, in Dodger Stadium. 2023 is in Seattle, up at what is it, T-Mobile? T-Mobile
Yes,
Park.
T-Mobile now. Safeco.
Yes. So who should host it next? Who do you think is 2024? What interesting things should they add to the All-Star Game to make it unique? There's options. There's a lot of stuff that they could do. What's one thing you want to see them doing to make it unique and make it more fun? And we'll start with Kristian.
We've sort of spoken about this whenever the Little League World Series was on. I don't want them to have the All-Star Game at any team stadium any longer. It should be at the Field of Dreams or somewhere else. Like that's how you do creativeness with that. If I had to choose someone, like I really don't know. I think it's going to be Philly, right? No matter what, for the 100 years thing, actually. Or DC. I know they were going to do that with a couple other All-Stars. But yeah, if I had to really choose, they shouldn't be at anyone's stadium any longer. It should be at the Field of Dreams or a new stadiums. I want to see them bring new stadiums to the world. And for like challenges or something, I'd like to see like who can throw the hardest or who can throw out the most base runners. Something stupid fun. It's just like the home run derby to me. I've lost interest in it, honestly. Like it's fun seeing them hit home runs. Like seeing the stars star out, and like it's fun. But it's really nothing to me. So yeah.
Sam, what do you got?
I think no matter what, I think I do agree with the idea that they should do it like Field of Dreams or somewhere else. But if they really feel the need to do it at like an MLB stadium, like it should go east. Like it's been like 3 consecutive years of like a Western All-Star Game. Like that's just bad. That's just not a good look. I guess it's supposed to be in Atlanta this year, and they had to change it. They kind of had to change it because of the circumstances. But I think like obviously like Philly, DC, Baltimore, like all of those would just be great, like great cities to have it in. Like All-Star Game at Camden Yards would be amazing. And then I think the All-Star Game should have a bunt contest. I think that from Korea, obviously, because that would just be the stupidest of the stupid fun. And maybe maybe Joey Gallo would learn to bunt for the contest. So I consider this a net positive to have a bunt contest in the East Coast.
Yeah, that's fair.
My total is nice.
It's nice. But yeah, I think they have been in the West for a while. Like obviously, like if I had to choose anywhere, I'm like I put it in San Francisco because that's my team. I want it there. But yeah, if I can't have San Francisco, I think Camden Yards would be awesome. Just because that stadium's super dope. I wouldn't put it in New York. Just because I think I'm a firm believer in the Yankees deserve nothing and the Mets are LOL Mets. So maybe not. But yeah, Camden Yards would be super cool. Philly would be nice. I think even were they in Pittsburgh not too long ago? I feel like they were.
They were in Cincinnati in 2015.
They should. Pittsburgh is beautiful.
Pittsburgh, I think, would be
far and away the
incredible.
best stadium in baseball. Is Pittsburgh Stadium.
No.
I disagree. I think it's number 2.
As a Cincinnati, I cannot support anything Pittsburgh. So
I think it's number 2.
I can't support Pittsburgh.
Like, that's not really a hot take either. That's like I also haven't seen PNC yet, so maybe once I do,
beautiful.
Maybe once
Until
I do,
it-
I'll change my mind.
Until any other stadium can make Johnny Cueto balk from just the sheer volume of the stadium, no
That
other
was-
stadium can top that stadium for me.
Cueto.
And then Martin hits the home
I
run.
remember
Russell
that.
Martin is a Hall of Famer.
Is he?
Oh
Better
yeah.
offensive seasons than Salvy,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
If
Was he
if
that
you
good
think
of a frame? Was he that
if
good
you
of a
think
framer?
Yadier Molina is a Hall of Famer, then yeah,
Russell
Russell Martin is a Hall of Famer. He has the same amount of F4, higher WRC plus, and their framing is very, very comparable.
Yeah. Yeah,
We
I'm
can talk
kinda,
about this for days.
I'm on the fence about both,
Sadly.
but Fool's Baseball already covered this, so
I liked his
Also-
video. When he used B War instead of F War, it made me angry because B War has
Disgusting.
never accounted for framing, and yeah, that hurt. Framing
I
was
think
added
he
in-
did talk about framing separately, though, right?
yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
His main
Yeah.
point was framing.
Framing was added
Yeah.
in 2008 as a stat, and that really sucks because Brian McCann's 2007 season would have been one of the best catching seasons ever if they had
Yeah.
framing that season.
Yep.
So yeah,
Yes, they could retroactively do it, I guess, but like, I
you
mean,
could just going based off what he had from 2008, try to put it to 2007, and just see where the WAR total would have been, because it would have been like 9 or 10 WAR. It was awesome.
it would have been crazy high.
Wait, don't we have to, wait, if we have the pitch FX data from like 2006, can we do 06 and 07 with that data?
Theoretically, I don't know. I just know that FRM started in 2008.
Yeah.
I think it's theoretically possible, but I don't think anyone's going to take the time to do it. So we'll see. But yeah, it's definitely, he had an incredible just defensive season that year. So it's a shame it's not really super accounted for. Not enough people know about it. More than now.
I was 1, so I wouldn't know.
Yikes. Okay. I was, 7, 8? Like,
Yeah.
still, yeah, man. Okay, anyway, moving on. So, inning number 7, our final inning here. So we've talked about this team all year, but the Giants make absolutely no sense. And we've talked about it a little bit here today. And on Friday night, pinch hitter Kevin Gausman, pinch hitter, starting pitcher Kevin Gausman, hit a walk-off sac fly to give the Giants the win over the Braves. So pitchers pinch hitting walk-offs doesn't really make much sense at all. In the same vein, what's your favorite wild occurrence in baseball that makes absolutely no sense when it happened? And we'll go to
You said me?
yes.
I was gonna talk about the rally goose, the Detroit Tigers Angels. It was a goose that landed on the field and it propelled Detroit to come back by like 5 or 6 runs. But just when you spoke of Kevin Gausman hitting a sac fly in 2019, the Angels and Yankees had a 16-inning game that was completely ludicrous. Like nothing about it should have happened. In the 13th inning, Aroldis Chapman blew a 3-run save. It was just one of those nights. We had no bench players. We had no bench players left, and Zach Cozart took a knee to the head and had to be removed from the game. So in the 16th inning, Trevor Cahill recorded the last out as the hitter for the Angels. And yeah.
Gotta say, I'm gonna if I'm gonna be basic, I would say 30-3. Rangers, Orioles. Just so stupid.
Okay.
Also, just a testament to how terrible the Orioles always are, no matter when it is. And then when they're good,
Stadium's pretty.
They bring in Ubaldo Jimenez instead of Zach Britton. So I think that whole thing would just. And also, I like there was a game this year that I think the Reds where it had like 2 outs, like Max Schrock hit a double down the line in like the 10th. Well, that wasn't 10th. It was like the bottom of the 9th. But my favorite part was that Joey Votto hit like a 49-mile-an-hour single in the most high leverage situation of the game.
I would have been
And it was
fuming.
The greatest hit of all time, I think. The 49-mile-an-hour single in the middle of the season.
Love it. Yeah, I think, and obviously this is a John Center question. Because Zach Godwin walk-off, I was so stressed like, watching that game. But my favorite one, I think, has got to be I think it was a few years, maybe 2 years ago. I think there was the Phillies. They had the relief pitcher who was out playing left field and recorded an outfield assist.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that
Velasquez.
Vince Velasquez, yeah.
Yes, that's what it was. It was bonkers. I remember it was like, this is awesome. This is
He had a
just fun.
couple of gems that year. He was the
I
same
think he had a
pitcher. He
couple of
took
gems that
the
week.
he took the liner
The
off the
left-
elbow and then grabbed the ball with his left arm and threw him out at first base. He was certified
I
as
was a
that.
rocket too.
I'd also like to throw in everything Ricky Henderson ever did as an honorable mention.
Fair.
Yeah.
Just all of everything he did.
Yeah, I also like kind of staying with Kevin Gausman having that pinch hit sac fly back in 2018. Madison Bumgarner had a pinch hit walk off single, and like, bottom like 11 or something like that. Because like, of course he did. So
But, like,
yeah,
it's
it's just
established
fun.
that Madbum can kind of hit. So
Madbum can in fact hit a little bit. But yeah,
he's the
Yeah,
new
so
age
that's-
Zach Greinke.
that's fair. That's fair. So yeah, that'll do it for our 7th inning stretch. So our point total here: Kristian takes the win this week with the 95, far and away the highest point total we've ever had, and same with the 77, which I believe is also one of the highest point totals we've ever had because I like to give away points. Yeah, so for your record-setting win here, you get to lead off our what to watch for this week. So, what are you watching this week? Players, storylines, teams? What do you got?
Players, I think the triple MVP race in the National League with Harper, Soto, and Tatis is phenomenal. I want to watch every single one of their at bats because all of them are just piss hot right now. It's awesome.
That's fair.
For teams, the Blue Jays, I've been saying it for quite some time, just the best lineup in baseball.
Sure.
Just far and away the best lineup in baseball, and they're starting pitching despite losing Hyunjin Ryu this week. Their pitching has been phenomenal. Barrios says changed the mechanic. I believe it was August 23rd, and since that time he's had a 2.89 ERA. He's been phenomenal. The team has been phenomenal, and yeah, I've been watching every Blue Jays game, even though Tani's the MVP over Vlad, and it's not close. It'll be 30-0.
It should be 30-0.
It
It
will
better
be.
be 30-0. Sam, what are you watching?
I'm watching. Like, I hate to be basic, but I want to watch. First of all, I'm going to watch the Reds because like I
Makes
love
sense.
because my favorite team and they have a fighting chance for the first time in a very long time. It's very exciting.
Didn't they make the playoffs last year?
Yeah,
that was
but
a weird
that
season.
is-
They wouldn't have made the playoffs in a normal year. So
That's true.
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse title by the Dodgers.
yeah,
by the way.
Mickey Mouse playoff appearance.
Trevor Bauer won a Cy Young. It really doesn't count.
True.
Yeah,
2020 wasn't real.
every single person on that roster was using Spider Tack, especially the
Mhm.
hitters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I'm going to be watching the old men of St. Louis pitch, even though I want them to do horrible.
That's
Uh,
fair.
Yeah, like watching the Blue Jays, always fun, because every game is 11-9, 12-10. Yeah, I just want to watch like all the close races. Like even though like I want to see Vladdy get a triple crown.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Make
Yeah, I
sure you're
wanna-
watching out for
and
that.
I don't
wanna
want to see
watch-
him get a triple crown, but
Why
it's been
not?
fun to watch.
Explain your reasoning.
Because then
they'll
someone
have-
will give them MVP votes.
It'll be another
and doesn't deserve
generation.
them.
I already had to deal with this in 2012 when Miguel Cabrera incorrectly won an MVP over Mike Trout, despite having 3 less F WAR and B WAR. So if that happened again this season with Otani's just historic, no one has ever done this. If he,
I think you guys are mistaken. I think that there should be like one dissenting vote, just so everyone can make fun of the one guy who decided to vote for Vlad.
There probably
think
will be.
that-
That's the sad part.
I think the entire baseball community rallying to make fun of one person is something that we sorely lack right now.
Yeah, I'd agree, and that's a drive to left field. But yeah,
Oh yeah,
no,
actually,
for sure.
his kids go to my school.
Nice. All right. I don't see a better way to kind of finish things up from that.
Yeah, frankly.
But yeah, that'll really do it for us here. I mean, follow us everywhere. You know where to find us, I'd assume. If you don't, we're online. Our website is diamond-digest.com. Our Twitter, diamond_digest. Our Instagram, diamond.digest. We are extremely consistent, as you can clearly tell with our naming. But that'll do it for us. We have merch on our website. What's up?
Just take whatever's not taken.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we do have a merch store on our website. Got some pretty cool stuff there. So check that out. Check us out on Twitter. Read our articles. We got plenty of stuff. If you listen to this, thanks. We do this every week, just about. Sometimes we take a week off here and there, but you'll find us here, whether it's on YouTube, Spotify, or anywhere else you can listen to podcasts. But that'll do it for us here. For Sam and our winner today, Kristian, I am Diego, and as always, enjoy your week and go baseball.
John, SYC.